Hey everyone, M Squared here with you again for my first ever installment of a series I'd like to call RB Scrub. First, let me apologize for the background noise if you're hearing it. I live in a small apartment in the city on one of the main thoroughfares, and it's morning rush hour, so there's a ton of traffic driving by my place right now. I'm also smack dab underneath the landing pattern for the airport sometimes, so yeah, it can get pretty noisy around here. I've played Arcade Battle pretty much since the beginning of my playing War Thunder, with a few exceptions, usually squatting with friends. Somebody requests that I squat up with them, and I do better when I'm flying with friends anyways in RB mode. I don't have really that much luck by myself. I have a lot of learning to do. But after tanks were released, I started playing those matches in realistic battles right away because I was very excited about the mixed mode battles they offered. Actually, for tanks, I found that I do better in RB, and it certainly is better for any RP grinding you're doing to make your way up the tree than trying to do it in AB. So I've been kicking around the idea of flying aircraft more in RB mode, and I've been doing a little more of it in the daily events Gaijin provides and mixed mode tank battles, although rather badly. But slowly and surely, I'm getting used to the physics. I'm aiming a little better in RB, and I'll take you on my journey in this series of videos from RB Scrub, hopefully, to RB Ace someday. A few months ago, Gaijin did something I hadn't seen them do before, and that was offer a non-premium aircraft, but only for a limited time. If you were able to grind and purchase the aircraft within that time, it was yours. Otherwise, you were shit out of luck, and the plane vanished from the tech tree after the time was up. That plane was the Lavochkin 174 jet, and they placed it right after the LA-15 in the tech tree. Now, at the time, I wasn't even close to being able to grind through all the planes I would have needed before getting to the 174. But last week, Gaijin put the plane on offer under the same limited time terms. And this time, I was in a much better position to get it. All I had to grind and purchase this time was the LA-15 and the LA-174 within about a week. So both planes together were going to take about 700,000 RP and about 2 million lions. I already had the lions, but I was looking for the best and most efficient way to get to the goal. I quickly ruled out arcade battles, even in premium planes like the Russian King Cobra. I think it probably would have taken a whole week of constant play with arcade battle rewards, and I didn't have that kind of time. So I went looking for an RB solution. Um, Again, I looked at the Russian King Cobra, but felt a little uncomfortable trying to fly at 4.0 battle rating in RB in a fighter because, well, as the title of the series says, I'm an RB scrub and probably wouldn't have been able to do very well dogfighting other seasoned RB pilots at that level. Then I remembered a video by one of my favorite YouTubers, Mags, and he put up a few months ago when he was grinding the LA 174. He put up a video and he did it all, almost all of it, with the Tu-2s by putting a talisman on it. This greatly increases the RP rewards you get flying that plane, and the plane has a number of other things going for it that make it, as he calls it, the best Russian jet grinder in the game. It's fast, it's highly maneuverable, it can take a ton of damage. It also has 20 millimeter Shvat cannons with 300 rounds in the nose for attack, carries a maximum of 2,000 kilograms of bombs, which you can take out either a minor base in one run, or you can carry it as 4 or 500 kilogram bombs for pillboxes and all kinds of tanks, light, medium, heavy. On top of all that, it has 3 rear-facing tail gunners. Each one has a 12.7 millimeter Berezin machine gun. With a talisman, the Tu-2s earns 370% reward and a plus 244% bonus research points. Very respectable. But that's not all. With your Tu-2s, you'll also get very favorable matchmaking at 5.7 BR, and that keeps you out of competition with all but the lowest tier of jet fighters. Mags explains all the benefits of the plane in detail, so I'll provide a link to his video in the description. So here we are in a couple of matches I played about halfway through my grinding process. I've started to get better used to the plane and how it flies at this point, although you'll see a lot of areas of my piloting and gunning that surely need improvement. Now let's see if we can't get up to speed with the battle already in progress. This is the Zhengzhou map. I spawned in, we've got two Tu-2s, two IL-10s, and a premium B-25. I've already taken out a couple of the bridges, and now I'm just looking to unload my bombs on this tank column here. And we've got a number of soft targets as well. So you'll have to excuse the aim. Obviously, I'm not used to flying such a beast. And I luck out here that there aren't any trees a little closer to the road. Try my hand at a little bit of back gunning while I'm at it. Sometimes I hit, sometimes I don't. I'm going to have to get more used to sort of switching back and forth between front and rear. You can see the plane's very maneuverable. Most of the time I'm in these runs, I've got my flaps on, which gives it a little bit more stability. It also limits the speed. It helps me turn without flopping around too wildly, although you'll see it's got some wobble to it. And now my friends have come in, the IL-10s, and they're cleaning up some of the softer targets. So nothing left for me to do here. I'm out of bombs and all the soft targets are dealt with, so on my way back to base. And I think this is probably a good point where we'll stop and fast forward and spare you the going back to base and returning. So interesting thing about this particular match, I get back to base, and as you can see, I'm just kind of slowly gliding my way in. But I'm trying to see what's been going on with the rest of the team here. So I make it back. Getting better with my landings, by the way. Only crashed once or twice with a very seriously crippled aircraft, but this one, touchdown, break. And I start looking at the roster here, and I notice that me and the B-25 are the only two ones, besides an AI, we're the only two left in this match. Now, I'd like your opinion on this, because I don't play RB very much, and I know that there's some douchebaggery that goes on, and I don't want to be that douchebag. So I'm landing, reloading, gonna go back into battle. We're up against a few enemies, but I'm feeling pretty good about the plane. It can defend itself pretty well. I'd like to go bomb some more targets, get some more RP. But they've got 3 guys and some AIs still in the game. And then, oh, what happened to that B-25? So I'm starting to take off. And looking again, and he's out. So it's me against the world. So rather than take off, I end up bailing out. And I basically hand them the victory. I just kind of figured that, you know, I won against that many enemies. I stand little chance. Best case scenario, I go in and drop 4 more bombs and pick off a few targets and maybe make it back to base again. Worst case scenario, I get shot down and get stuck with a pretty big repair bill before I even make it to the target. So I thought the odds were against me. I felt pretty good about doing that, in that I didn't go hiding on the map or anything like that. I just laid down that B-25 and I handed it to them. Now, some people might say I deprived them of the XP for shooting me down, and I'm an asshole for bailing, but I don't know. Give me your opinion on that. Sometimes I know it's a no-no. In that case, when I'm on the airfield and I'm fully repaired and ready to go, I feel like maybe that wasn't such a bad thing to do. They still won the game. They didn't have to go chase around to find me. So let me know what you think about it. Now here we are in another battle, which we got into right away. And this is on the Krimsk map. That word's hard to say, but I've played this map a few times before. Oh yeah, the bad connection follows me around pretty much this whole match. And the first time that I played this map, I went diving in on the right side down to that little town there. Oh, and forgive, I must have had Facebook turned on in the background too. So no, that wasn't your computer. That was my that was my computer. Apparently, I had a browser open in the background that was making noise. But I dove down to the right side to, hit this tank column right around the city, and didn't realize that there were a couple of destroyers and some landing craft and a light cruiser down there, and just got shot to pieces. The AAA on those ships is just kind of insane, really. So, trying to take a little bit different approach in this map from the last time, maybe have a little bit better luck. My idea is that I'm going to hide behind this little ridge over here to my right, and gaining speed, still gaining speed. I'm going pretty fast right now. I'm hoping that my bombs are going to be accurate enough, but I'm basically looking to pop over the ridge over on this right hand side, take a quick dive down towards the ships, and try to make as short work of them as possible so that I can have my way with the rest of the ground targets. So here I go over the ridge. I see that Tu-2, my ally there, has already taken out the destroyer. What I've got left are some landing craft, which I'm pretty sure I can take out with my cannons. So there he goes. And then diving in super fast. Actually, I let one 500 kilogram bomb go, and I meant to actually release two, but I was like, hey, if one does the trick, one doesn't normally do the trick for me. I guess I have to get a little better at where to set my bombs on these ships to get the maximum impact. But still got 3 of my bombs left, and now I can get to work on the ground targets, but we've got some company here. So there's this Bearcat flying right at me. He takes some long shots that don't really do any damage to me. Fly past him and then get on my tail gunners and try to do a little work here. And get a little hit there. Aim not very good. He takes a little chunk out of me or something, and then he decides to dive away. Now I see that Tu-2 down there, and I didn't realize that he had already crashed. Apparently he was shot down by one of the armored vehicles there, the armored cars. So I turned back to try and rescue him, and the Bearcat had already finished him off. Now he's on my tail again, and my aim is a little bit better this time. Hits, aircraft destroyed. Aiming straight for his engine, and ended up pilot sniping him. So that worked out. I'll take a Bearcat kill for sure. Definitely works towards the RP that I needed in order to get the LA-174. Then there's the bad network connection again. So here I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to put my bombs. I've got tank columns. They go through some meandering streets. See, I get a little bit of lag there from the bad network. I'm hoping it's not going to screw me up too badly trying to turn this beast around. So this is about when I hear the propeller on my tail and see him on the radar. And Ryan is going to harass me, and so I unload a few rounds into him, and then I have to get on a reload. So now I'm back on the tail gunners. And he sits behind me like a dumbass, and I saw his wing off. So bad network connection, bad network connection. Figures. Aircraft destroyed, second kill of the game. Still have 3 bombs to unload. I would really like to get rid of them. I've had some damage done to my plane. You can see my fuselage is deep red. My wings have a little less damage. My elevators are black, but you can see that the durability of this plane, I still have control over it. It's a little wobbly, it's a little bit slow on the turn, but it's not making me do all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'm looking at this tank, and I realize he's about to make a turn, and I just don't lead him enough, so I end up wasting a bomb there. Well, I get a hit, but don't get the kill. That time I get the kill. And here I'm shooting armored car. No good. Try a little tail gun action. It just takes some getting used to when you have all these guns at your disposal. You know, switching your views back and forth to get the most. Trying not to use up all my front nose cannon, trying to do a little work with the tail gun. So here I've got one more bomb to unload. And this tank's looking slow and juicy. So I'm going to try and get him as he rounds the corner as well. I lead him a little bit there and don't miss. Now at this point I make a decision that, you know, after having seen my teammate get shot down by an armored car and my plane in the shape that it's in, I decide it's time to go back to base. There are other tanks that I can destroy here on the next trip back. I can get the armored cars and the AAA, the rest of them when I come back with a full load of ammunition. I also like to return to base with at least a little ammo left. Sometimes I don't. It depends kind of on how the game is going, so that I can defend myself if necessary. But I tuck in the flaps and hightail it home over the ridge here, and I think we'll take another pause here and come back when the action starts again. So here we are, back in the air with fully repaired aircraft, full load of bombs, cannons reloaded, and we're flying in. And I'm thinking I'm going to return to that same tank column that I was working on before. Of course, the bad network connection is still following me around. Hasn't caused too many problems as of yet. Checking the map to see what I've got in front of me. And I have to say, this was a really good experience for cutting my teeth in realistic battles. The way that the planes fly is a little bit different. With this particular bomber, it has its another advantage that I failed to mention earlier in the video, was that this is a kind of a combo bomber attacker aircraft. But with most attacker aircraft, you don't get the little bombing reticle. So this has the little holographic bomb sight on the ground, and boy, that makes hitting these ground targets a whole lot easier. So I'm just grinding this plane match after match, playing map after map, just bombing, hitting the targets, the soft targets, the tanks, the bases, the bridges, and every now and then get a few kills. Look, I'm at the top of the boards here, top of the charts. And I'm pretty much, I don't know how some of the strategy on these maps work. I see that there's an airbase over there down to my right, labeled A, which I didn't realize at the time that I could have landed and rearmed on and saved myself a whole lot of flying back and forth. But trying to guess what the objectives here are in this game and how it works, I'm looking at this tank column thinking, well, it's coming towards A. I imagine we'll lose the A base if I don't take care of them. So I'm going towards this near column here, and I'm going to try to get rid of all of them before they reach A. And we see Deathmaster's a B-17 up there. I don't know if he's base bombing. I think he took a chunk out of our base earlier, or one of the B-17s did. So I've got an array of ground targets to pick from here, and they're all moving very fast. So trying to get my lead right. And of course the bad network connection comes up just in time. Lead him quite a bit there, and boom. Get the kill. Starting to flip it around, turn the flaps on so I can stabilize my turn a little bit more. I got the WEP on to keep my speed up so I don't stall out in the middle of that turn. And we've got a nice little line of tanks here to work with. Again, we're leading them pretty generously. There's one kill and then a miss. Definitely need some practice with this. Find the lead tank on another column. Just going to drop in on him. Release. And close enough for jazz. It works. 500 kilogram bomb splash is probably something you don't want to be anywhere near. More bad network connection just as soon as I'm ready to start laying down some fire. Get a couple of hits there, destroy one, turn to the tail gunner, and actually finish him off with the tail gunner. Nice work, Mr. Michael. All right, flip her around, come back for another round. Now it looks like I've just got soft targets left. I was kind of wondering about that because I remember seeing some more tanks, thinking I was going to have to go and get another load of bombs. But I'm guessing something, maybe our friendly artillery was shooting over there, or some of the ground forces that we still have. You know, I don't really know. It seemed like they just disappeared or blew up, and I guess that happens with the AI over time. Maybe there's mines on the road, I don't know. But I'm cool with it. I've still got some armored cars and things like that to polish off here, and those are worth some XP while I'm at it. And so far this game, really, nobody has harassed me. So I've been free to just fly around, grinding my XP, getting a couple of hits in here. Cannot lead him correctly, can't turn my plane quite the way I need it. Some lousy aim with the tail gun. And oh, there's a hill there. Okay, we'll come back around for another pass. Rinse and repeat. And this is what I do. And after I get, I'm a little concerned. I don't know if these soft targets can actually go cap A if they get close enough. Without those tanks, I highly doubt it. I imagine they would get killed by our AI on the ground before they got close. But I'm going to go ahead and try to finish these guys off. A little bit of tail gunning. Cannot hit broadside. Oh, I did hit him. He seems to be the only one left, at least in this tank column here. So I come back around. Miss, 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 fail. Back gunner. Hits. No kill. 45 rounds, 46 rounds cannon left. Bad network connection. Here it is. This is it. Coming in, leading him oh so perfectly, and there he goes. Take a look around. Nobody else is around. And so here, I think I make the smart decision and go land myself at A rather than going all the way back to our home base. So flap's still on. Gonna try and keep my speed kind of constant during this descent down to the airbase. Now at this point, they've got two guys left, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. I can go and sort of fly my sorties without any kind of disruption. Put the gear down to try and slow me down just a little bit. Tucked my flaps in. Should have kept those open. Kind of wobbling around a little bit here. Trying to kill some of that speed before I get touched down, because I think this airbase is a little bit shorter runway. Oop, there's a little bit of a hill there. Don't want to bust my landing gear on that. Not the prettiest landing, but definitely a landing. So I'm just kind of ruddering back and forth to try and bleed some more of that speed. Try to stay on the runway. And touch down safely. Didn't really sustain any damage that last sortie, so all I need to do is reload, and that doesn't take very long in this plane when I've got the crew up to where I've got it. Now they're down to one plane, and apparently it's a B-17, and these guys are having a hard time finding him. I don't know if he's running away. The tickets right now seem fairly even, and again, in RB, I'm not exactly sure how this works. I imagine if we run out of time, whoever's got the most tickets left is going to win. But it appears to me, since I have some allies and I can bomb at will and return to base at will and reload and rearm, that we're going to have the edge on the tickets here pretty soon. We probably already do at least a little bit. It looks like we're ahead slightly. But that's about to change because I'm going to lay some more bombs down. And I'm looking at this column of medium tanks over here. So in order for that B-17 to win the game, I guess he would have to return to base and reload and rearm. And here I'm just chatting with him because they're having a hard time finding him. That we're in pretty good shape, but they're getting annoyed because they'd like the match to be over and they don't like him hiding out. So they're probably just waiting at the base for him or scanning the skies trying to catch a glimpse. Bad network connection still. Hasn't screwed me up too badly in this game at all, really. It just seems to happen at the very worst times. So first targets present themselves, trying to get a little bit better angle on them as they're coming over on this road here. So trying to line them up like rockets so I can make the most out of my bombing run here. And just as he's cresting the hill, I led him a little bit, I think probably a little bit too much. I don't know if he crested the hill and gained some speed and outran my bomb. Not sure exactly what happened there, but now at this point the match has taken quite some time, but that's okay with me. I mean, the whole purpose of this match for me has been the grind. So if I can just go and pick off armored cars and AAA and tanks and just run back and forth, I should end up with pretty good rewards at the end of the game. It's just that I have to weigh it out against trying to, you know, if I flew in arcade battles, I would make a lot less RP for each kill, for each ground target destroyed, but those matches also take quite a bit less time. And that's what I found with some of the other planes. Now this one with a Talisman on it, I think it's well worth the effort to do this in realistic battle mode. And here you can see some of that wobble back. Not sure if some of that's due to the bad network connection or if that's just the characteristics of the plane, or maybe it's my lousy flying. I'm not sure. But we're lining up this medium tank coming from a sideways approach, trying to give him enough lead. And he's down. Cannot put the guns on him. Wobble the plane around a little bit. Don't crash into the hill. That will end the game probably faster than just about anything else. Got my eyes on this medium tank. I'd like to unload this last bomb so I can be a little bit more fast and a little bit more nimble when destroying these other ground targets. Having those bombs weighting you down, you know, getting rid of them first is usually my big priority. So here we come in and drop it right in front of him. And I'll bet that one fell right on top of him. So, bad network connection again. Back and forth, completely undisturbed. Which is great for a RB scrub like me because I need to take my time with these things. I can't kill 6 ground targets in one run. I have to make multiple passes multiple times, miss plenty of shots before I get the ones that count. But it all comes with practice, and This game that you're watching right now is after a little bit of practice, believe it or not. I'm actually showing some skills here as opposed to the first few matches that I flew out, if you can believe it. Now these guys are starting to get a little bit upset. I don't blame them. You know, if I were a fighter looking for a bomber to shoot down and he was on the far edges of the map, I understand that for some people that's some kind of strategy. I don't know if they're just trying to stay alive. Looking at the tickets, though, it doesn't look like it's going to do him any good, so I'm not exactly sure what he was doing. Now, in that last match, I had some questions about whether it was okay, like if that was a total pussy thing to do, to bail out of a plane when you felt like you didn't have a chance, save yourself the repair bill, save people a bunch of time. I wonder if the smarter move for him might not have been to go land. I don't know, maybe they were lurking around the airfield and there was no chance of survival there, but had he gone to land and then just bailed out of his plane, he would have saved himself and our. Again, heading back to A, which is a lot closer. Just kind of cruising. And I think we'll punch out here and come back when I rearm yet again. All right, so we're back and we've been rearmed and repaired and we're just getting ready to take off. And our boys have now spotted that B-17. So now I'm waiting to see if they can take him down. Am I going to get more bombing runs in, or are they going to shoot him down, or is he going to crash? And then our teammates say, ram him. I don't know if they spent all their ammo. I'm not sure. Oh, planes crashed together. I guess the ram was successful. So I guess if I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, they were probably just so pissed off that they had to go spend all that time looking for him. I, on the other hand, was not distressed about it because I was able to go and do my thing in peace, which is really what you're hoping for in a match like this with the Tu-2s. You just want to be left alone to do your thing, contribute to the team, and not have to worry about somebody on your ass all the time. If you're looking for hot plane-on-plane action, it's not always a good thing in this plane. There are some fighters out there that will just take you apart. So we've got a couple of awards here. Everything looks good. First on the team. Look at those rewards. And I'm just going to freeze the picture right there that you can have a look. Let's see, 111,000 silver lions. Not too shabby at all. The modifications research, I didn't really need it because by the time this was all done, I had the plane fully modded out. Vehicle research, 18,178. Now this was on a premium account, not on any kind of daily double or anything like that, but a premium account. And remember, this plane has a Talisman on it, but at 18,000, now this was a particularly long match. I didn't always average, I mean, sometimes I got quite a bit more. Sometimes I get somewhere around 7,000 or 8,000, but you can see why this is a really good grinding plane. And I'm not sure exactly how many hours that I logged playing with these two planes, but it really wasn't that bad, grinding through two Tier 5 jets that were not cheap. And I did it, and I did it with the Tu-2s, and definitely as a grinding plane, I would recommend it. It has a lot of advantages, and even if you're normally an arcade mode player, you can do quite a bit in realistic battles with this plane. I would recommend starting with a bomber or an attacker, something like this, and wow, you can really shorten your road to some of those higher up planes. So here you can see in my tech tree, I now have the LA-15 and the LA-174. I was researching the Yak-17. I stopped what I was doing, went immediately over to this line of the tree. So I ground entirely the LA-15 and the LA-174 in less than 2 days. It was several hours each of those 2 days, but I got it done. Haven't even taken the shiny wrapper off this LA-174 or taken it out for a test flight or anything like that. But you can also see my Tu-2s over here. We got the Talisman up there, everything fully upgraded. Here's the bomb load. You have your choice of a number of different configurations, but I have found that 4x500 works best. But that's it, folks. That is episode 1 of RB Scrub. I thank you for joining me. Leave comments down below if you have any questions, suggestions. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a like if you thought the video was helpful, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.